Yo, what is going on? This is That Guy Face with Face, the music media. We are back again with another episode of How I Synth. In this video, we're going to be going over how to make your VST synthesizer sound like vintage analog. Let's get into it.
Oh yeah. Oh mama. Oh yeah. Face the music.
So, analog synths are known for their warm, rich, organic sound. They generate the sound using analog circuits and components. On the other hand, VSTs use digital signal processing to create the sound. And while VSTs are usually convenient and versatile, they lack that analog warmth and character of an analog synth. But don't worry, we're gonna go over my top techniques of how I get my VSTs to sound more like analog. But before we get into that, if you have not already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you can be notified every time we drop a new video, and go ahead and hit the thumbs up if you enjoy the content. Also, make sure you go to realloops.com, that's REELLOOPS, and cop the Sweet Fusion preset packs. We got volume 1 and volume 2, dope presets handcrafted by me and the guys at realloops.com. So you definitely want to check that out. Volume 3 is coming, so you definitely want to stay tapped in with that. It's going to be a special release. And so anyway, so let's just jump into some of the top ways that I emulate analog characteristics in a VST. If you've seen any of my other videos, the first thing that I do usually with the synth is do the oscillator detune. And this is one of the most effective techniques that you could use to make your VST sound more like analog, because analog synths usually have some kind of variation in the pitch due to their imperfect circuits. Also, we add a little bit of modulation to create some movement and character. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So I'm here in Ableton. I have Brainworks Oberhausen pulled up here. Let's just jump into how we can detune the oscillators and add some modulation to create character. So I have the initialized patch loaded up here. Let's come over here to the mixer. Let's go ahead and bring in oscillator 2. So now all we need to do is slightly detune oscillator 2. So I'm gonna come up here to the fine control and let's slowly detune that. Let's take a listen. So you hear how it's like a flanger effect. I have a chord progression I played in the background. Let's take a listen with and without. I'm gonna turn that level down. Let's go to voices, put that on 16. Now let's listen with the detune. Beautiful. I love that sound. So let's go ahead and add some modulation. Now, another thing we could do before we add the modulation is spread out the voices, because that's going to help us sound more analog as well. So we do that by just taking this spread function here and boosting that. So let's go ahead and take a listen. Whew, I love that. Makes a huge difference. Let's go ahead and add the modulation here. So I'm going to go ahead and sync the oscillators. So let's go ahead and sync that. And the way we modulate it is we sweep through the frequency until we find the right frequency. And then we modulate it by coming over here to the modulation and going over to frequency. So it's going to modulate the frequency. And then we choose either envelope or LFO. I'm going to come over here. Let's find the frequency first and then modulate. Beautiful. I love that. I want to fool around and shape the sound really quick. So I'm going to come over here to the filter. Let's go ahead and boost the modulation. Let's come over here to envelope 2. I'm going to bring the decay way up, and I'm going to bring the attack up some as well. And so let's take a listen to that and see what it sounds like. That is beautiful. I love that. So that just creates a little bit of movement so the sound isn't just stale, you know? Let's talk about using effects and processing to enhance the sound. To add some analog character and warmth to your sound, there's so many different ways. You can add distortion, saturation, chorus effects, flanger effects, reverb, and delays. These effects just add harmonic richness and mimic the behavior of analog gear. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the techniques that I love to use that make the sound more analog. So we'll start off with the effects that are included with the Oberhausen plugin, and then I'm going to add some extra effects on top of that. Let's go ahead and do this. We're going to drop down the list here. I'm going to add some chorus, delay, and reverb. So let's start with the delay. I just want it to be a very subtle delay. I don't want too much going on, and so I'm going to keep the feedback low. Let's take a listen to the delay. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and jump into the chorus. Let's go ahead and take a listen. It just gave it this lo-fi effect where it's slightly pitchy, but you can't really tell. And it's just like gives it that inconsistent type of sound. We have the mix at 100%. If we reduce the mix, it's going to sound kind of like a flanger. So let's take a listen to the difference with 100% of the chorus on and then a mix of it. That is beautiful. Wow. So I don't even know which one I like better, 100% chorus or 50%. Like they both sound fire, but I'm going to stick with the 100% to keep it subtle because it sounds a little less like there's an effect on there. So let's go ahead and add the reverb. We're going to turn the mix up so we can hear it, and then let's make some adjustments to see what it sounds like. I love that. So now let's take a listen with no effects and then listen with the effects. Beautiful. I absolutely love that. So the last thing that I want to do is add some processing effects that I love to add that I call it my analog magic chain. So first we have the UAD 1073 Preamp EQ. It adds like this little bit of fuzz. The way I use it is, since it does not have the compensation for the gain, I have to have a utility right after it. But basically I'll boost the drive of the input and that adds saturation to the sound. And then after that, I knock a little bit of the low end off and then I kind of just fool around with the controls until I find a sound that I like. But let's just go ahead and take a listen. Beautiful. Now let's hear it with and without. Beautiful. So it's very subtle how it affects it, but it just adds this extra flavor to it that just is very pleasing. So next up, we have the Oxide Tape. I literally don't do anything to the tape. So let's just take a listen to that before and after and see what that sounds like. Beautiful. So it does something to the bottom end where it just adds a little bump to it. Next up, we have the LA-2A by UAD as well. And so on this one, I'm using such a small amount of compression, maybe 1 dB. Let's go ahead and take a listen to that and see what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Beautiful. You can hear the delays when I hit stop. You can hear the delays more, so it just kind of slightly pulls everything up. I love that. Lastly, we have Softube Tape. So I'm using it for like a natural flanger and to kind of do more of the inconsistent pitch with the speed stability control here. What I do is fool around with the headroom to kind of add some saturation, and then I'll go into the speed stability and then the dry wet, which adds this flanger effect. So let's just go ahead and take a listen and see what it sounds like. I'm going to turn that all the way off. Beautiful. It just added some actual noise in there. It's like this little rattle noise. I don't know what that is. I love it though. And then it creates this wobble. It just adds a little bit of texture to the sound. Let's take a listen with everything off and then with everything on. Beautiful. I love that. Anyway, man, that's the end of this video. You guys let me know what you think about the techniques that I like to use to make my VST sound more like analog down in the comments below. So here's the thing. When it comes to making your VST sound a little more interesting and lively, you could take this chain and plug and play different plugins and create a color palette. And so what I have is a bunch of different templates that I use where instead of the LA-2A, maybe I have a Fairchild or 1176, or maybe instead of Softube Tape, I have like IK Multimedia Tape. And so all of them have different sonic palettes. And so just experiment with different sounds and come up with a palette that works for you. And what'll happen is after a while, you have so many different palettes that you can use to make and build your sound. And so you'll start to make this sound and people will say, well, what synths are you using? Like, how do you get it to sound like that? And it's like, oh, that's my chain. Yes, the synth, I'm making the synth sound good, but it's the chain of effects that I'm using that's really making it come to life. And so I encourage you guys to get in there and mess around with some different chains and see what works best for you. But anyway, man, this is that guy Face. The Music Media. If you have not already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. And go ahead and hit the thumbs up if you enjoy the content. Also, make sure you go to realloops.com. That's REELLOOPS and cop the Sweet Fusion preset packs. We got volume 1 and volume 2. Dope presets handcrafted by me and the guys at realloops.com. Volume 3 is coming as well, so stay tuned for that. Also, make sure you go down in the description, check out the Music by That Guy Face playlist. We got multiple singles and more coming, so you definitely want to stay tapped in with the playlist. But anyway, man, this is That Guy Face, the Music Media. We out of here. Peace.